Welcome to our fourth and maybe final gathering of this sort. We've never done this before, but we're getting positive feedback on these little boot camp sessions just to give you a leg up. This is no different. We try to figure out the things that are well understood in the group and you can teach each other, and things that might really help you save time and effort, that if we get enough of you up to date on it, maybe you can then teach each other and everything can go a little bit more smoothly. How many of you are using InDesign to set up your book already? Okay, if you haven't started, we recommend that you do. This is not just because this is not some tradition thing that we have here in the graduate program. It's what the design profession does. The design profession puts together text and visual evidence. We put it together in a way where the visual evidence can speak to the text and the text can speak to the visual evidence. This is what we do as design professionals. This is the tool that design professionals use. Are there any other tools that do what InDesign does? There are a few. And because Adobe is very expensive, there's a strong incentive for new companies to come up with tools that can replace Adobe InDesign. Canva is trying. Who uses Canva? But help us out. Can you do what InDesign does? Well, I'm going to show you a few things that I'm confident that Canva and nobody else can do. But first of all, let's establish a baseline. Remember in first year when you set up your portfolio? You did that in InDesign, right? Did I get that right? So, and the tools of InDesign that you use when you set up your portfolio tend to be things like this, the parent pages up here. And you set up your page layout, and then you replicate that page layout so that there is a consistent look and feel to your portfolio as you move through it. It holds together as a piece of design itself. That's what InDesign does. That's why design professionals love it. I'm going to show you today an example of the Making Masters book, in part because this is a common ground. Everyone in the thesis program will be receiving, I believe, if we do it the same way. I don't think we know who's putting together the Making Masters book yet this year. I did it for like 5 years, but I haven't done it since 2022. You're going to get, I believe, I suspect, I hope you will get a template, a spread, and you will be asked to lay out your synthetic drawing, I think is what we're calling it now, right? You will be getting a spread and it will be a template, something like this. And you'll be asked to place an image. There'll be an image box and you will be placing the image. I'm using the words carefully. The word place is the word that Adobe InDesign uses. And you will be placing the text, you will be placing the caption, and there will be a consistent look and feel throughout the entire Making Masters book because you're using this template. Just like, so far, so good, it's just like your portfolio. Now, one of the things you may not have done in your portfolio is use styles. Who's familiar with styles already? So a few of you. Who is not familiar with styles and would like to be? So styles is actually a really useful tool when you're managing a large document like your thesis book, because sometimes, because we're all designers, sometimes we say, you know what, I think this decision I made early in the semester to justify the text. Someone told me, like we don't really do that anymore to justify the margins on both sides. I want to change the justification, or someone told me this really cool font. I really want to use this font in my book. So some of your colleagues who might not be here today, they're going to think that the right thing to do is to highlight this block of text, change the font, change the paragraph settings, and then go down further in the document, highlight the text, and do it again. And do that over and over again until they've updated the text style of every block of text in the book. Friends don't let friends change the style of each block of text one at a time. If you're a good friend to your friend, you will tell them all about style sheets. And I don't know, is this big enough for you to see? I don't know how to change that. You might want to move in closer. But this is, these are the style sheets. And you'll notice that each block, well, this is the way we make this book. We make the book by bringing in PDFs, hopefully. So let's look at, I love Mark Pasnick's page here. So this is a case where we have access to the text. And we can, by referring to what is in here, we can see that the paragraph style is the basic one, which is good. It's like a generic style. It's the default style for all blocks of text. And in contrast, we go down here. Oops, this is a bad example. We go down here and we see, oh, look, this is the style set to be the caption text. That one. So this is caption text. And if we decided that we wanted to change, if we think the caption text is a little too small for legibility, and there are captions on every page throughout this entire document. So friends don't let friends change each caption one at a time. So because there is a style associated with every caption in the entire document, we have the luxury of saying, let's change the captions throughout the book. Let's double click on captions, and we get access to these controls. The size of the caption is 7. I seem to recall that the thesis specifications recommend using fonts no smaller than 9 point. So let's change all the captions in this entire book to 9 point. So we make that change, and we say okay. And this is now 9 point in this page, but I can go through every page with a caption, with a live caption, and I can see that it's also 9 point. So the change has been applied throughout the document. If I go here, this is also 9 point. Okay. Questions about styles? One thing you can do with one of the most powerful aspects of InDesign is an InDesign file is a container of work that it's referencing other files. Every image in this file is really just a location tag. So this is tagged to a folder, an associated folder that comes with this InDesign file. There's a folder filled with images. Every image in the Making Masters 22 book is independently stored in a folder that's linked to this master document. Every block of text can be independently linked to a Word file or a Google Doc file separate from the InDesign file. So you can update your image and revise it and refine it, make it work better, and save it. And then you go into your InDesign file and you say update, just sync with those reference files, and your image will change and it will update to what the new changes are to your image. The same deal with the text. You can compose your discourse chapter, as you've started doing, in Google Doc or Word. I'm not sure if there are any other compatible formats, but one of those two, you're probably using one of those two anyway. You can do your writing in Google Doc or Word. You can use that document to engage your colleagues and your instructors. They can give you suggestions and feedback on that Google Doc. When you can update your Google Doc, you can do a spell check. You can do all these things, use every tool of the Google Doc or the Word file and save it. And as soon as you sync it with the InDesign file, your text will update. Yes, Emily.
These files that you're linked to, are they on your computer or are they somewhere else?
They are on your computer.
So
And-
if you change computers, let's say you have a file and you want to open it in another computer, it doesn't link for you.
No, you lost your links. Use one computer. There are specific instructions we're looking at the thesis specifications document now, and you'll see at the very end, in the last page, it runs through how, okay, it looks like it needs some update. It runs through how to make sure that all those extra files and folders are linked to your InDesign file. When you're moving around, you can move around. But then the last thing you do is you export, you go to your InDesign file, it's almost noon on the 14th of April, and you're feeling a sense of elation already because you're about to deliver your thesis book. Imagine, picture it now. As your feeling of elation is growing, the thing you do is you package it. You run a check and you package it, and this makes sure that all your auxiliary files are connected with your InDesign file. Then you export it as a PDF. And it pulls all those latest versions of your images and your text, and it creates a PDF out of your InDesign file. The thing you are submitting on April 14th or before April 14th is a packaged PDF that is generated by your InDesign. Your InDesign file is basically a master conductor that is curating all of the images and all the text documents that you're working on. And it pulls it in and then packages it in PDF, and you're all set to go. When you open InDesign, it will say, hey, you've lost some of your links. And so you then go to your links window and you say, oh, I've lost my links. Let me repackage. Let me reconnect those links. And so this helps you. This is a feature that helps you find and reconnect those links. This is disconnected from it because in the last 2.5 years, it's moved around an awful lot. So, but this is something that will help you reconnect it to your source files as needed. Don't panic. Now, one of the key things for making sure this is the way things are brought in to InDesign is you might think that what we do here is to import a text. So we don't import text into InDesign. We reference that text by placing it. So when you go to the menu options and you want to place a text, let's say this is a new master page that I just created. So now I want to work on this text. Make sure I have it highlighted. Where is it? So when I go to place a text, I go to File, and don't be distracted by the import XML or import PDF. You're not importing XML. That's a web-based markup language. You're not placing, you're not importing a PDF. You're importing text, and it's not really importing. You're linking to a Google Doc or a Word doc. So remember this word, place. You are placing a text, and you're not importing an image. You are placing an image. So the verb, the key verb that Adobe wants you to keep in your mind is place. You are placing text, placing image. So when you go to do that, you go to File and Place or Command D. And once you do that, you now have a chance to go through the different locations on your laptop, locate the thing you want to place, click on it, and place your text. Yes, young lady.
Or text, like can it be a PDF? Does it have to be a Word doc? I guess a Google Doc, right?
It needs to be a text document. So a Google Doc or a Word document. I'm not sure if other formats are compatible, but it's a word processing text. You can place PDFs. The producer of Making Masters, if they are smart, they will force you to use InDesign to produce a PDF. You submit the PDF, and then the PDFs get managed here. If it's done properly, you can still actually edit the text, but it's a lot neater because when you name an image, what do you call the image in your layout? I know what you call it. You call it image, or image one, or new image, or final image. And so we're going to have 78 digital files all named new image, and another 17 that are named image two. And we won't be able to make sense of it if you are empathetic to, in the design professions, if you're empathetic to your colleagues who are pulling together the collective work of the team, you should demonstrate your empathy. You carefully curate your file names so it has your last name on it and some identifying word that makes it unique from all the other 332 images that are in your final document. So, but can we count on that? Probably not. So we're going to probably ask you, you're going to probably be asked to produce a PDF. PDF can be imported directly, please. Yes.
How do you get the two columns in InDesign from the Word document? Do you just do a Word document and they automatically dumps in InDesign as like that? Or do you do the two columns in InDesign and then it populates the words?
So the two columns in Word are independent of the two columns in InDesign. The two columns in InDesign are produced by text boxes. This is a text box that flows into this text box. So there's a flow link between this text box and that text box. So that's independent. It's a separate mechanism in your Word document. So all InDesign knows is blocks of text with a few exceptions. One of the exceptions is when you import your text from the word processor into InDesign, you have the other import options. You can click on import options and then you get a window of several different things. You can maintain the styles that were established in your word processing. Both Word and Google Docs has a robust, very useful, highly recommended to you set of styles that you can use. And you can bring those styles directly into InDesign and keep them. Or you can choose to map the styles in your word processor onto a new set of styles in InDesign. Those are options. Another option when you're placing the text, when you place the text, you can say, bring in the footnotes. Right? Remember what we did last week? All that work with the footnotes in Zotero. Well, you do that in Word or Google Doc, and then you maintain the benefits of that. You don't have to bring in the text as dumb text and then redo the footnotes in InDesign. You can say, retain the footnote formatting. And so when you place your text, it will be placed and a footnote will automatically be established at the base of the page. And just like in your word processing document, if you move any image into the text and displacing the text and changing the page arrangement, your footnotes will travel with the text it's associated with. If your instructor or your colleague advises you, all the stuff you put at the beginning of your discourse review chapter, you're really just setting the context for your design situation. That belongs in your introductory chapter. By the way, that belongs in your introductory chapter, where you have all these footnotes associated with it. So when you move it from the beginning of your discourse review chapter, and you move it to the end of your introduction chapter where it belongs, it will automatically change your footnote numbering so that it's exactly what we want.
Conceptually distinguish placing, and I understand placing, and when would you import? What that command is up there, so when do you use it? If placing takes blocks of text and images and connects them to this document.
Yes.
When do you use the import?
So just to repeat the question. So I get placing that it maintains a link to the source document. When would you import? The short answer is for you in this context. The short answer is never. The longer answer is when you join the faculty and it's your job to set up the Making Masters book, you might be importing PDFs because it's so much easier.
clarifying question.
Yes.
I have to download every single Google Doc as a Word document on my computer in order to place it into InDesign, or no?
I believe Google Docs will import into InDesign, but you need to have it.
But how do you, because when you into place,
Oh, yes, you have to have the Google Doc.
so it has to be offline.
Okay, so here's the thing. We're getting deep into the weeds, but how many of you use Google Docs? Okay, almost consensus there. How many of you use Drive to sync your Google Docs in the cloud onto your laptop? The syncing tool. So there's enough of you who know how to keep documents in the cloud synced to your hard drive for the knowledge to be out there. The general idea here is if you have the Google Doc on your hard drive, which we recommend, right? Don't you guys think that's a good idea? Isn't that a pro move to sync the documents you're working on between the cloud and your laptop? That way, someone, you're walking home, someone pulls out a gun and says, give me your laptop. You say, here we go. Because you don't care, right? How cool is that? You don't care, it's synced to the cloud. It's just a laptop. Your friends want you, your parents have already talked to you about this, right? Just give them the laptop. You're synced to the cloud. It's just a laptop. We love you, honey, and we want you to come home safe, right? So give them the laptop. It's synced to the cloud. Place the text from your Google Doc. When you're going to place text, select the Google Doc file that is there synced to your hard drive, and it will work, I believe, until we hear otherwise. Right, Colleen, that's gonna work, right? Okay. Yes.
I just want to say that it's really important in your master pages to set up the guidelines, the blue lines. So Robert, if you could go to the presentation mode, you could go to normal mode. You can see all the blue lines that make up this page. And so,
Oh, the guidelines, yeah. So view. This is a book template that was set up by Stoltz Design, one of the great graphic design firms ever. But some things, so I've been adapting and changing a bit. Their style sheets are out of control. So we've changed it a bit. But this is their guidelines. So you'll see that they said, oh, make sure you're just, every page should have this consistent look and feel. This is how they set up their consistent look and feel. It's with this very fine-grained set of guidelines. What's that?
yeah, but what's essential is that you do not go past that middle like border. So the two boxes fit inside the purple lines and you need to maintain whatever guidelines you set up. So
Yeah.
if you have a book without any guidelines or blue lines or purple lines, it will not be a good book. Guarantee you. So you can download templates. I'm sure.
Probably, yeah. Okay. And so you can see that we've tried to stay true to the guidelines, just so the look and feel throughout the book is consistent. We do that through the page layout guidelines, as Laura is pointing out, through style sheets, so that there's a consistent font throughout, and we use wherever possible the automatic features, the automatic page number, for example. in the master pages, do you put page numbers in your portfolio? So you know, you would, this is another idiosyncratic thing with InDesign. You would think that you would find, you would look in the menu, if you wanted to insert automatic page numbers, right? I would imagine, because I use computers all the time, I imagine a menu item says insert. And then I go down and say, oh, automatic page, auto page numbering, right? But I would be wrong and frustrated every time I go to do that. How does Adobe do it? Adobe says, go to type, go to insert special character, type, insert special character, markers. What? Markers? Current page number. Oh my God. But that's what it is. Take a screenshot of that. Maybe we should put this in the thesis specifications because this is the one, this is the one that gets me every time. So I actually have it tattooed on my forearm here. So I just refer to it. In reality, who uses random? So you know how to find impossible repetitive commands in a system that makes zero sense whatsoever. You are successful, you are here in the grad program in part because we are all good little rats. When you put us in the maze and we're like finding the cheese, whoop, dead end. Whoop, dead end. Oh, there's the cheese. So the next time I get dropped in the maze, I know that's a dead end, I don't go there. I know that's a dead end, I go straight to the cheese. That's the way we all have to be with these tools where someone who's not a designer and certainly someone who doesn't have a user experience design bone in their body, they set this up. So we have to be good little ratties and remember where to find these really useful things. There's an automatic page number. So you can move a page, a whole spread, you can move it in your book and it will change the page numbers. Friends don't let friends do manual page numbers. We don't have time for that. It's a big book. It has automatic footnoting. You move the text, it changes the footnotes. It has automatic figure numbering. You say figure 3.1 because it's the first image in your third chapter. You move it, or you add more text as you go back and excavate the material and the design testing you did last fall. And now that same image, without you doing anything, is now updated to figure 3.17. Right? Pretty cool, right? That's what it is. That's why we use InDesign in the design professions. It's very powerful for managing large, complicated documents like your thesis book. What else is on our list of things that we wanted to make sure you had confidence doing? They know that. They know parent pages, right? We all know parent pages? Yay. Yes.
Are you using Google Lookup?
No. What's it called now? They keep changing the name. Is it Drive.Google? Google Drive? What's the sync?
It has to be a separate application.
It's an application you download from Google. I think it's called Drive.Google. Is that right? It's drive.google.com.
Or OneDrive if you have Microsoft.
And you could use OneDrive if you use Microsoft. Depends on which oligarch you're supporting. You know parent and child, you know pages versus spreads. Do you know pages versus spreads? Okay. You know exporting as a PDF. It's even if you don't, it's already text flow, style sheets, importing text with note citations. I think that's the end of the agenda. Yes, sir.
A Word document. Page layout. So on the left side, I have if the left side of the page is text and the right page, the right side is text, how do I make the paragraph flow from one text box into the other?
So I would love to show that to you, but yeah, I'm trying to find a page that is editable. It's all locked. Yeah. No, layers is not it. There we go. Okay. So let's say we have a ton of text. So I'm importing text and I see this little symbol down here. It's hard to see, but it's a little red square with a plus sign. And I want to set up, there's too much text to fit on the left side. So where do I want it to flow to? I want it to flow to the right side. And so I make sure that there's a text box on the right side by clicking on the text tool. And I create a text box like that complies with my guidelines. And then I flow the text by clicking here. I can grab the extra text. If I get the right cursor, I can grab that extra text. And my cursor turns into this sign, which says, your cursor is now loaded with overflow text. Sometimes when I place an image, I see a different little symbol, which tells me your cursor is loaded with an image that refers to an image in a folder somewhere else. But right now, my cursor is loaded with text, and I want the text to flow from this box over to this box. And so I somewhere near the upper left-hand corner, I click on it and the text flows. But wait, there's more text. So I can continue that on the next spread and I can set up a text box. It will do a default text box and then I can change it like that. Was that clear? Now, when I click on all text, you'll see that I did select all. This is a block of text. This text box starts here, it flows from this box into this box. That's how I get the two columns. Then it flows from this box to this box, and then it flows from this box onto the next page. So it is conceivable to do your entire book in one Google Doc file. Probably not a great idea, but you could, and you could flow it from text box to text box all the way through the entire book with a section break for chapters.
So not advised because what?
Not advised, it gets unwieldy. It's probably best to do chapter by chapter. But it wouldn't be crazy. Some of you are setting up Google Docs, right? You're putting the outline for your entire book in a Google Doc. You're producing your chapters. You're moving text from chapter 3 back to from chapter 2 to chapter 1, where it belongs. And then the thing that we recommend is you take that file at a certain point and you break it into separate chapter texts. And so you can work on each chapter on its own with your collaborators, with your instructors, and place it in the InDesign file so that your InDesign file is being updated as you change your Word or Google Doc. Now, we're asking you between now and next week, remember, you notice we give you these workshops when you need it. By the way, you need it. Next Friday, what we want you to do is we want you to print out the page spreads from your thesis book working draft. We want to see 11 by 17 spreads pinned up on the wall from early pages down in the next column, next set of pages. So we want a pin up that shows the current state of your thesis book. just to do a check-in so that we can identify issues early. Some of you, your instructors will ask you to do this again in 2 weeks and again in 4 weeks, just to check in. What's the state of your book? Where are the gaps? Where are the things that need attention? Where do things need to move? Where does your argument need the support of more visual evidence or better visual evidence? Where are you missing references to textual evidence that needs to support your argument, especially for chapter 2, but also chapter 3, where you're curating your ongoing design testing coming out of studio. We want to see that work that you're doing in studio packaged in your working draft of chapter 3. We want to see you narrate your journey through design testing from last September up through the end of March. We want to see the narration of that journey with image-heavy spreads that show your design testing, with a continuous narrative line that says my early criteria for success was this, then I did this testing. We're not going to narrate it that way. We're going to say the design testing of this issue yielded these insights so that the criteria become revised to be this criteria, which drive to the next series of tests. We want to see that narration through the journey, through the design testing as visual evidence, all the way through chapter 3. That's something we're hoping to see already in progress next Friday, pinned up on the wall. Okay. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Today, you're going to get 2 assignments. You're going to get the analysis assignment that isn't due for 2 weeks. We want you to get going on it now so you have something well developed 2 weeks from now. You're also going to get the crossings assignment, which will set us up for next Friday to present to each other in new support groups that are not your sections, and give each other, receive and give feedback on the state of your thesis. We're going to use a little trick. We're going to say, well, due to circumstances beyond the control of Wentworth Institute of Technology, we have to end the semester next Friday. So instead of presenting on April 7th, April 8th, we would like you to instead present on February 7th. Sorry, but present your thesis in whatever state it's in next Friday. So you have 6 minutes to present wherever you're at, so that we can help each other figure things out. Yes.
So I like to put my images in between the text.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do that in InDesign, and of course it goes on top of it. Do you know of a way?
Yes.
For my convenience, text can automatically go around?
Yes.
the image?
When you bring in your image and it's sitting on top of your text, click on the image and then go to Courtney. Make sure I get this right. Object,
Wait, click on the image first.
text frame. I'm not sure I have any. Let's see. Do I have this one? Oh, thank you. Look at that. So my image is sitting on top of my text. I don't want that. So with my image selected, I go to Object, and I'm a good little rat. I know this. I've done it. Object layer options. No, it's not in properties. Let me get back to you. Oh, properties. Where's properties?
Yeah, your far right column toolbar in the black, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I feel it. I feel it. Text wrapping. You see that? You don't see it. Come over here. Properties, go to the properties window. And then you can do a text wrap. Let's say, let's wrap around the bounding box. Boom. And now you can also set the cushioning. Like how much of a cushion do we want around it? So you can do so much cushioning, right? Ah, thank you. See, it takes a village. Other questions? Yes.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, question about next Friday.
So we are all in the. We are in crit rooms.
So next Friday, come to class up there. And you're going to meet with your instructors for like a half hour. We're just going to do a check-in, make sure everything's cool. Then at 8:30, we're going to then redisperse. The night before, at the end of studio, we're going to pin up. So on Thursday evening, we want everybody pinned up in their location with their little support groups. And then at 8:30 next Friday, we're going to go to those places. We're going to try to get enough faculty to have one of us at each session just to facilitate. We want you to talk to each other more than anything else. We'll jump in to the board, filling in gaps that we see. But that's going to be a session from 8:30 to I think 10:30. So it says. And then we'll have an open gallery thing because your instructors want to see what you're doing. So the instructors are then going to circulate around, and you can all circulate around to see what the state of everybody's thesis work. And so we'll have a gallery review for the last hour of class next Friday. And there's a handout that describes this process. You will also be in your sessions. You will be auditing your colleagues' work, written audit form. You'll be saying, okay, I got the key anchoring question of the thesis. I get the situation, but I'm not clear on how this helps that. So you'll be identifying the blanks, missing things, and you'll be helping your classmates develop their most urgent next steps on what needs to be done. Moving forward. Okay. Other questions?